create similar objects. We had a situation. One of the participants was asking us, can we just initialize book straight up and then say .name, and then I was like, remember, it's the book. Let me share my screen so we can screen. Okay, we're back here. And we were here. And they wanted to know, like, can we just take book and then check the name, check the whatsoever? And then I was like, so I think it was car or something. And I was like, okay, so the car, this class is like the company. It creates cars. So I can't ask it directly, what's your model, what's your year, because it's the company that creates cars. It has the blueprint for the cars. It also has the factory. Remember, we talked about constructors or factories for objects. So I can't directly ask it that question. I would have to ask the company to tell the factory to create a car, and then I can start asking the car. See, they've created a car here. Then I can start working with the car's details, playing around with its methods, so on and so forth. And then we did some working on the browser, putting things on the browser, because we'll be doing a lot of that as full stack developers. There's front end, there's back end. So we'll be showing stuff on the browser, working with components. So we had a taste of that. We did some modules. We were able to connect. Remember, we had those errors that you had to look out for, which were telling you, okay, you can't do this, you have to do this. So we used Livewire to be able to serve the HTML, and then we're able to utilize importing from different files. Remember, we talked about this is a country, 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 this is a country. And if you want to use things from a different country, that country needs to export those goods. So it needs to be exported by the country, like this, export, and then you in your country need to import that good so that you can now utilize it here. I'm going to just comment out this alert because it has been alerting. If we go back, let's go in here. You see, it has been alerting. It alerts every time. So we've shown its usefulness. So now let's switch it off. We're just going to comment it out. I'm not going to delete it so that you guys can play around with it. And before we begin, let's go back here. Here we go here. Remember, this is the repo that at the start we're gonna create it, and then I've been working on. So if you click here on commits, you click here on commits, and then you can see the last time committed was yesterday, and I did this after our session. We did this during our session, I think. Yeah. So you can see here. So when I'm working with you guys in the lab and I'm giving you guys work, it's important, as Vukona also highlighted, that the way that we write these messages, they need, and in our talks, in our working together, the way that we name things, the messages that we create, these messages, they have to be descriptive. They short, yes, but also descriptive. It's not that them being short is the precedent. No, the descriptiveness and the shortness are equally important. So sometimes you might find that the shortest description of what happened is 20 words, unfortunately that's the shortest, because it still needs to be descriptive so that when I see it, I'm like, oh, I get what's happening here. So your messages must be as as descriptive as possible for yourself, for your teammates that you're going to be working with. So I can see your commits here. So when we're doing work in the lab and you're sending me your GitHubs, I can come here and I can check. Are you writing? What are you writing here? Are you writing things that make sense, or are you writing things that don't make sense? What's up? You can easily see. Let me show you again how you go there. Commits here. You click here, and then it shows you the commit messages that you put. Okay, let's go back to our code. All right, today we're going deeper into the world of iterables and loops. We'll discover how to repeat actions, process data, and build dynamic web pages, and all that cool stuff that makes coding powerful and fun. So without any further ado, let's dive in and keep going together. Okay, so I created a file called iterables, a sneaky file where you guys were gone. It's just a simple file. It has a list, it has an object, it has an object. So when we talk about iterables, like we're talking about iteration, iterating it's like objects like, okay, let's talk about what are iterables. It is, okay, we're gonna do it here. Yes, we will do it here because we're talking about iterables. So it's like arrays, objects, and also strings, because strings are actually an array of characters. So an iterable basically is something you can iterate over. Like, um, let me let me get an English proper definition of iterate. Iterate, perform or utter repeatedly. To iterate, it's to perform or to utter repeatedly. The quality arrived at by iteration, meaning over repetition, iteration, repetition. So you can, this is an iterable, meaning it's a thing you can um, go through repeatedly. It has that property within it. There's a sort of things that you can go through in it. Like an array, it has its elements. Objects have their properties. So I can go through the properties one after the other. And in a string, as I said, it's just an array of um, uh, like Bob, which is actually just the oh, a string of characters. So now there's this string, you can go to the one, to the next, to the next. So these are iterables. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So they have this thing of repetition within them. They have a repeating structure within them. So now you can use things like loops, which help us to repeat code. I think we saw a lot with our previous examples of places where we had to repeat code. And in some instances, especially let's go back to objects. When we first started with the robot, we created one robot, we created two robots, we created three robots. And then we realized, because as developers, as software devs, we we're not going to repeat things manually. We're always trying to find how can we automate this? How can we make it more efficient? How can we make it better? Yes, how can we just leave it to its own devices and then it does the job for us? So with objects, what we decided to do was let's create a constructor. That way we can pass things to it and then it will create a new object for us. You see, we're leveraging tools to make our work easier. But there are times when you want to repeat things, that some things need to be repeated, but you don't necessarily want to copy and paste 1,000 lines. Especially also in a situation, let's say you don't know how many lines you're going to require, which is what we need to talk about when you talk about loops. There are two types of loops. Uh, I mean, in JavaScript, there are many ways of using loops. There are many, what can I say, tools. There are many kinds of loops in that are supported in JavaScript. But these loops, there's like five. For in, for off, while, and do while. These five like fall into two categories. There are two categories of loops. The first one, you know how many times you have to repeat. And then the second category, you don't know how many times you have to repeat. So in here, when you know how many times you're going to have to repeat something, you will use any of the four loops. You'll use the default for loop, or you'll use a for in loop, or you'll use a for of loop. And we're going to dive into them now. And if you don't know how many times um, it needs to go around, and all you have is just a condition. I mean, you will have to have a condition with all of them, but that's all you have. You don't know how many times you're going to have to go over and over and over again, do something. Then you can do a while loop, a while loop, or do while, a do while loop. Okay. All right. So let's explore. Let's go back to main. Let's go back to main, and then this is what we're gonna do. So I want us to use student names. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna export you. I want to be able to use student names here in main. Remember, main is where we do our things. So I want to keep it that way. So let's look at the syntax and let's talk about we're going to start with the loops where you know how many elements are there. You know how many things you have to iterate over, how many things you're going to have to go over, how many things you're going to have to repeat. You have that knowledge, you have that number. So we're going to start with those loops. We're going to begin with, let me just see. Okay. Let's record the session. The session is available on YouTube. Let me put the link there. Okay, here we go. All right, there's the link. And after the session, it will still be available. It's being recorded right now. It'll still be available and you can rewatch it there. Okay, cool. Let's get back. All right, let's start with a for loop. Let's look at the syntax and talk about it. So the for loop loops through a block of code a number of times. Remember, because we know what it's got. Okay. Comment for loops through a block of code a number of times. The syntax for this is for, and then you say, so now there are three expressions. So there's expression 1, semicolon, expression 2, semicolon, expression 3. You open up your curly brackets and then code block to be executed goes here. So this is it. So the first expression, so let's do something. Let's do let text, and then we're going to say for let I equals 0, and then I smaller than 5, and then I plus plus. And then we're going to say text is equal no, let's just do a simple console log. Say the value of I is, I think I do. Okay, so I'm gonna run it on the terminal. So remember, when I run it on the terminal, this body is gonna give us an issue. Document is not defined. All right. So we're just quickly gonna be like da da da, and then there's so many, but it's telling us button. Okay, I'm going to put all of this in comments for now while we just play around with loops. All right. Okay, cool. As you can see, something else is printing out. It's probably from our other stuff. Okay, but let's not sweat it right now. As you can see, the value of I is the value of, so as you can see, there's a repetition, loops. This is what they're famous for. Let's talk about these expressions. Firstly, all of these expressions, expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, all of them are optional. You can leave them out if you want, and crazy things happen when you leave them out. And that's exactly what we're going to explore. So expression 1 is used to initialize the variables used in the loop, like let I become 0. So we're going to be using I to control the loop, because if the loop has no controls, the loop can literally go on forever. So if we are saying like, so if we don't have I, we have to have, these have to talk about something. So I can be outside. All right. So I can be outside. Okay, let's see if that's gonna run. Looks dodge, but it runs. You see, you can leave out I, but we still need to use something here, because what happens is that the first one is our initialization, and then the second one is used to evaluate the condition of the initial value. So we are saying I must be smaller than 5. Right now I is 0. So which means that this condition becomes true. All right. Okay. Because the condition is true, this block, as we have been shown in conditional statements, that when the condition is met, the block of code, if else, if and cases in switch, when the condition is true, the block of code beneath that condition is going to be executed. We are dealing with the same sort of mentality here again. Because 0 is smaller than 5, excuse me, because 0 is smaller than 5, true, this will run. Okay. Once this has ran, the whole block has ran. It comes back here. So when we come to 27, we don't go we don't end the program because it's a loop. The program jumps back to 24, and it comes and it asks, and then before it asks us, is I smaller than 5? The third expression, the third expression increments the value of the initial variable. It's also, like I said, all of them are optional, but we have them because without them, weird things start to happen. So for those who don't know, let me incrementing. So when you say I equals I plus 1, so what you're saying is that whatever value I has, give it one more, and then this new number, put it into I. So basically, update I with one more. So there is a way you can write this in a shorter, nicer way. You can write it simply as I plus plus, which is what we have here. It simply means this variable, just add one more to it. It's literally this. This and this are the same. All right. So now it runs. Now let's play around with this. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop it. Okay, let's make it 2, and then we'll see. It runs 2 times, because so after it runs for the first time, when the I is 0, it comes back at 27, it comes back to 24, and then it says I plus 1. It does the third expression. The third expression is executed after the code block is executed. So now I is 1. Is I smaller than 2? The condition still is true. So then we have, the condition is still true. So then we have, we run the code block. And then after the code block, we go to expression 3 and we say I plus plus, I plus 1 again. So now I is 2. So is 2 smaller than 2? No. Because we didn't say equal is smaller and equals 2. So 2 isn't smaller than 2, it's equals to 2. So now it's false. Because it's false, the code block will not run. The code block does not run. The loop is over. Thank you. Goodbye. What happens if we don't have also? All right, let's see what happens. Okay. I had. So if you obviously don't stop it, if let's say it's running on your browser, it's going to chow all your memory, and then the browser's gonna crash if your computer doesn't crash. So the browser's gonna just shut down. Like I can't. There's too much. Do you see how fast it went? Because there's no condition to stop it. It's just gonna go hella wire. It's just gonna go. There's no control put in place to say, hey, stop it after this much. Okay, let's bring it back. Let's see what happens when we remove this body. Okay, let me clear this. Let's see what happens when we remove this body. So now after it executes, it's gonna come back and there's no third expression. So I remains at 0. Let's see what happens. Okay, I also have to stop it. As you can see, it goes and goes. I'm literally scrolling. I'm scrolling down now. But you can't see because it's just the zeros. So the I was 0, and then we ask the condition, is it smaller than 2? It is. So then we execute the block. After executing the block, we go to the third statement. There's no third statement. We carry on with the condition. Is I smaller than 0? I is still 0. It's smaller than 2, I mean. I is still 0, so it is smaller than 2. So execute the block. And on and on and on. So these 3 guys, as optional as they are, they work together to achieve what we want to achieve. We certainly don't want our loop to run in infinity. That's not going to help us. That's not very efficient. We're wasting resources. We're creating, like we're like crashing the app. Like it's so amateur hour. Like you don't want to be a part of that. A rot. Okay. So now we put it back. So we can leave this out here, or you can also bring it back in here. I think I'm going to leave it out here so that you know that you can leave it out there. This is a perfectly fine statement. You can also leave that here. But you can also do it in reverse. You can do it in reverse. Also, you don't have to increment. You can also decrement. Let's see how we can do that. Say let j equals 20. And then first expression is the initialization. Okay, now we're doing the condition. So we're saying we want this loop to stop when j is smaller than 0. Right. We want this thing to stop when j is smaller than 0. Okay. And then the third and last expression, now the expression that is going to change the initial value, because it does need to change. If it doesn't change, remember the zeros, it was just zero. So nothing changed and it went on forever. So now we need to alter the starting value. And we can alter it however we want. Like we can say like I j minus minus. So okay, again, j minus minus is taking one out of j. Let me put the brackets and then I'll want to write it underneath. So j equals j minus 1. It's the same as saying j minus minus. From the value of j, remove 1, and that new value that we have, store it, assign it to j. So now j has 1 less of itself. Okay, so let's try you out. I'm gonna clear this up. Alter it. Let's see how this one goes. That's fine. It's just gonna run twice. That's good. Okay, let's see. J is not defined. Oh yes, yes, because I didn't do it with like the same with I. It's only in here. So J, this is the scope of J. J is only available in here. Whereas with this one, I took I out. So I can still do this out here because I is in the global scope. So I can use it outside of the if. So I'm going to comment this out, y'all. Interesting. Okay, I did something weird here. All right, let's see if you guys can see what I did, why it's not printing. Do you guys want to come through? All right, Musa? Musa? Milani?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you. There's,
Can
there's
you
some
me
noise at
how
the back. Milani, there's some noise at the back.
I can't control the noise.
Musa, you can come through.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Hi, Musa, how are you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm well, thank you.
For that thing, I feel like J has to be greater than 0 on line 31.
On line 31. Uh-huh.
Yeah. J has to be greater than 0 in order for that program to run.
Okay, talk to us about what I did here. Talk to us about how much J is, what the condition is saying for people to understand.
Okay. First you started by you let J be equal to 20, And then you
Yeah.
said J must be less than 0, whereas any number that is less than 0, it's supposed to be negative. But then
Yes.
from I don't know if I'm gonna explain it in good terms, but
Try your best.
basically you're saying that J must start from 20 going
Yes.
downwards. But
Yes.
then
Mm-hmm.
your second statement is saying that J should be equal to 0. So in a way, it's like during that process of you counting down from 20, J
Yeah.
must be less than 0, of which is incorrect in a way.
Because
Because
it's
for you
starting
to
from
actually
10.
count, yeah, if you're starting from 20,
Yes.
J must be greater than 0, greater or equal to 0 in a way.
So I must swap this side and do this.
Greater than or equal to 0, yeah.
Okay. Like this.
Yeah,
What should I do now? Should I test it out?
yeah, test it out.
Is this what you were expecting?
Yeah,
All right. So thank you so much, Musa. Musa is absolutely correct. The condition was false, so this didn't run at all, at all, because 20 is bigger than 0, and the condition had to be met by a j that was smaller than 0. So condition not met, block doesn't run. Okay. These are pretty straightforward. Loops are pretty straightforward. Okay. Let's bring in who did we import just now? We imported from no, we didn't. We just exported. Let's import. Let's import student names from iterables. Okay. This is student names, you guys. Look at it. It's an array. Um, I want someone who's going to help me print out the arrays, each name of the array, one after the other. Can I have a volunteer? Using a for loop, print out the elements of the student name array. Right, let's see. All right. Okay, let's go with Ronald. You have the floor.
Morning, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good as well. Yeah, we can start. Let's see at the top if we did import that list. And we
Okay, here it
can.
is.
Oh, we have it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can go down then. Okay.
All right.
You can say for and circle brackets and then open curly brackets.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Inside the circle brackets, we're gonna say I is equals to 0.
Okay, so we already defined I, so nice. So we can just overwrite it. Awesome. I
Yeah.
equal to 0.
And then you can close that and say I less than student names dot length.
Student names dot length. So just to touch on again, I know we've kind of covered it. So objects, and we talked about it yesterday, like if you understand objects, you understand JavaScript because everything is an object. And objects we know have properties. Some of those properties are values, like variables, and sometimes it's methods. So the arrays come with a property called length. So this is the property. This property tells us, if you just go over it here, um, gets or sets the length of the array. This is a number one higher than the highest index in the array. So remember, arrays start at 0. everything like in the syntax of JavaScript and other programming languages. We start at 0 instead of starting at 1. So this one is not going to give you that whole. If you have 6, it's going to say if you had 6, it's not going to say 5. It's going to tell you like you have 6 because you do have 6. It's not giving you that the index way of numbering. All right. Okay. Yes, you can proceed, Ronald.
Yeah, you can close that and say I++.
Okay. I plus plus.
And inside the curly brackets, you can say console.log.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna say student names, and then we're gonna access with the index of I. Then we're gonna say student names, then corner brackets, then you put I in there.
Okay. Then I put I in there.
Yeah, then you can run it.
All right. Let's see. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So remember, this is how we access elements in an array. So I is 0. So basically what's going to happen here is this is going to be 0 when it happens. And then I is going to change. Then it's going to be 1. Then it's going to be 2. Then it's going to be 3. And just like that, we have our list. All right. Should we do one more? How about something like let's skip every other. Let's skip all the odd ones. Who can help? Let's make it this very for loop. Let's augment it. Let's make it more zhuzh. Let's say I only want 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Let's say I only want the even ones. Okay, let's see who's up for that. Karama, do you want to pull through?
Yes, ma'am. Good day, ma'am. How are you?
Good day, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
All right.
So, there, you see on line 42, the for loop, as the assignment and the
Condition.
as the assignment as the condition. Then you see there when you increment it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just gonna assign say I plus equals to, then say 2. Then that is going to step um
Like this.
yes, ma'am.
So you're saying it's going to choose every second one.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's run it and let's see. Success. So you don't have to go through one by one by one by one by one by one if you don't want to. It depends. It depends on the situation you're trying to solve. What I want to expose you is that this is how this thing can work for you. So you have a situation you want to do this, and now these are the constraints. Basically, you have the for loop has its constraints. These are the things that are possible with me as a for loop, and you can use these expressions to get exactly what you want to run it how many times as you want. Do we have any questions on this? I'm gonna lower everybody's hand, and then if you have questions, suggestions, please put them in the chat. Questions, raise your hand. Senzo has a question.
Yes, hello, ma'am.
Hi, Senzo, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm well, thank you.
Can we please go to the code again?
Okay. Here we are.
So what I wanted to test is, can you say
Wait,
on the?
no. Do you have a question for us?
Okay, it's something like a questions.
Okay, yes, what's the question?
Yeah. So, but the question is about testing, or whether is the thing going to work or what?
Okay, all right. What do you want to test?
Okay. So on line 42, on the iteration part, the third part.
Line 42. Yes, the third part.
Yeah. So can we say I plus plus?
Okay, we did that before, but yes, I plus plus.
And then on line 44,
Yeah,
on the I, we say I plus 2.
I plus 2. Okay. Let's see what that
Then
does.
we can test.
So it runs, and then there's 2, and then 1. So it runs how many times? 2, 4, 6, 8. It runs the amount of length, but because can you mute for me, please?
Okay.
So it runs for all of them because length, right? I is smaller than length. And here it's still incrementing by 1. So it's going to go through the length of which is, let's go back. How long is it? 2, 4, 6, 8. It's 11. 11. So it's going to run 11 times. But now, because in here, when we call it, so when it's at 11, when it's at 11, and then we go in, it's going to print out, which is going to be I equals 10. So which is going to be the 11th element, because it's always right one behind. So when we are at 10, here it's going to access 12. We don't have a 12th element because the array only has 11 elements. So that's undefined. We are out of bounds. I'm actually surprised that it doesn't, in JavaScript, it doesn't crash. Because I know in Java, when you're out of bounds, that's an exception. It throws an exception. So here, it was just like, it carried on trying. So you're 2 ahead of how far you can go. So it works here because we skipped, if you look at the one before, we skipped Lindiwe, we skipped Tabo, because you are always 2 ahead. Even in 0, where it's the I is 0. Instead of calling the first one, we're calling the second. We're calling the third one, sort of. So you're always just 2 ahead of where you are. You're always just 2 ahead of where you're always calling something that's 2 ahead of where you are. All right.
Okay. It makes sense now.
Okay. So you can also put arrays inside arrays. Like, here's a challenge. Can someone build me this? Let's put an array. Let's put a loop inside a loop. I want this. I want to build. You've seen this before. It's like 5 stars. I don't know why I wrote these other ones. So don't mind the comments, because obviously I can't just write these stars here. I can't write them just like this. It's gonna complain. So don't mind the comments, but this is basically what I want. Yeah. There's going to be 2 loops. We're going to do the first version. Okay, there's going to be 2 versions. A version that you can do that you can do just with one loop, and then there's a version you can do with a nested loop. Okay, so let's start with the basic version. Let's start with the basic version where we're just using one loop, and then after that we're gonna go into using a nested loop. Okay, let's see who I've got to play with here. Who's coming through? All right, I see you, Garabo. Okay. Garabo, you can come through.
Okay.
And then Nelson will do the nested one.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's go back. Okay, so how can you reprint these stars for me?
I'm going to use how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Five.
Oh, 5.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it's
Okay.
5 or 6. It's fine.
Okay. No, it's 5, man.
Okay.
So I'm going to create a for loop. Just say for.
Yeah.
Then let I.
Let's use a different one.
Okay.
Let
Let.
R.
Okay. It's equals to
Yes.
0.
Equals to 0. Uh-huh.
Okay.
First
Then
expression.
R
R. Yeah.
is less than.
Is less than
Okay. 5.
5. Okay.
Okay. And increment R
Okay. By how much?
by 1.
Okay. By 1.
Then inside the loop, and because of what we want to print as the stars,
Yeah.
so we are going to use a string method. So
Okay.
we are going to have let's put inverted commas.
Inverted commas. Okay.
Okay, and just say, or you can just say console log inside. Just say console log, ma'am. Sorry about that. Console log. Then the brackets. Then okay. Then um we need to have the strings, which is how many stars are there? Uh, on each row.
It's 5.
Okay. Okay, swap. Then times. Then okay, not times, but after the inverted comma, then say dot.
After the inverted commas, say dot
After inside the bracket, man.
inside the brackets. Here.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Say dot.
Dot.
Then there's a method inside the string object, which is repeat. So repeat.
Repeat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Then inside the repeat, it should have marking parentheses, open and close parentheses.
Uh-huh.
Then going to repeat that. Um, yeah.
Remember,
Ah,
remember, this must be the output, without obviously the slashes for the comment.
okay, ma'am. So let's repeat R and see what's happening. What happens, ma'am? Inside
So
there,
I,
say
yeah,
yes.
and then what do I add something inside the repeat?
Yeah, you add R.
R.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see
We
and
run it.
let's run it, ma'am, and see what is happening.
This is what's happening.
Okay.
Should we remove repeat and see what it looks like?
Yes, ma'am, please. Okay,
There it is.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you so
That's
much.
okay. So now I want you're only allowed. So okay, I think someone has a question. Before I go to you, Nelson, to do the embedded one, you have the floor. Do you have a question?
It's not a question. I was just on the same, trying to solve the same problem.
Oh, okay,
Can you?
all right. Do you wanna? Okay. So, like Nelson
Yeah, I can
usually comes.
try.
So let's give you a chance. Sorry, Nelson. Let's give you a chance. Do you wanna do this one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the constraint this time is I'm only gonna give you. You can only do console log with. You can only have one star. You can only print one star at a time. So will have to force you to use an embedded, a nested like for loop.
Okay.
Yeah. So you
Yeah, I
can't.
can go.
Okay. So let's leave this one as it was. Let's do another one. So okay, let me know. I'm ready to go whenever you are.
So, okay, so the first one, it was printing vertically, every line was new. So we're gonna have to do the same thing, like for and then let say r is equals to 0 and then semicolon, r less than 5 semicolon.
G. Let's call it G. Should it start at 0?
Yeah,
Okay. And then
g less than 5
G less than 5. Yeah.
and then we semicolon g plus plus.
G plus plus. Okay.
Okay, and so the condition is to use an inner loop. So
Yes. Let's show people how to use.
yeah, so because the first loop is always creating a new line.
Okay.
On the second loop,
Uh-huh.
I think we have to put the star. So you can do another for loop.
All right. 4.
Let say f let f
F
equal to 0
equal to
0
0. All right. Uh-huh. First expression.
semicolon f less than 5
F is less than 5. Third expression.
f plus plus,
F plus plus.
and then I think that's where you can say console.log and then the star.
All right. It's like this.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
So
All right.
the second one will go vertically. So it's gonna print all the stars, not vertical, so horizontally. Gonna print all the stars horizontal.
Okay. What do we do now?
So we can run the program.
All right. Let's see what we get. All right. You've
What?
got a good start. Let's.
Okay, let's
Lucy,
see.
do you wanna come through?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Hello.
How can you help?
Cool.
You know,
Cool. So just one thing to take note of here. Okay, I think the embedded loop, the variables are correct. However, one thing to note is that in JavaScript, console.log by default has a new line character. So for each time you print that star, it automatically will go to the next line the next time you run a
Yes,
console.log, right? So
that's
unlike
what.
with Python, so for example, in languages like Python, you can add a variable to make sure that you can be able to console log stuff out without a new line, or to print out stuff without a new line. So in this case, what we can do is instead of printing out console logging in the embedded loop, we can just use the embedded loop to just to come up with that particular horizontal number of stars, right? So we can just have a
I
variable
love that you explained.
that we can declare, maybe let's say in the outer loop, that we make sure that
All right.
it's empty, and then we add stars to it in the inner loop, and then print it once the inner loop runs. So this will just display the understanding of loops in such a manner that for each iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop runs entirely, right? So we'll use the inner loop to concatenate the stars, and then in the outer loop, then we just print out that particular line and then clean out the variable. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes complete sense. Let's show them in a practical manner. Great explanation. I
Cool.
appreciate you explaining before we dive in. So let's dive in.
Okay, so in the outer loop, or maybe let's just declare the variable outside of both the loops. Maybe let's say let's what can I call the variable? Horizontal
We do.
line, or
I will. I will guide. I will guide. Okay, so there's a horizontal line.
Mhm.
Is what you're saying? Okay, what's the horizontal
Yes.
line? So you're saying that's a variable we must declare.
Yes. So let's horizontal line, horizontal stars.
Star line. How about that?
Yeah, I'm horrible at naming variables.
You need to get
Yeah, so
better.
you just make it an empty string.
Okay, empty string, no problem. Like this.
Perfect. So instead of a console log there on line 65, you just say star line plus equal star.
Okay. Star line plus equal. Can you explain to people what equal means?
The plus equal. Cool. So here it's basically concatenating two strings. So it's almost the same as saying star line is equal to star line plus whatever that you're going to be adding. So in this case, we're going to be adding a star.
Yes. So it's the same as doing this.
Yes, essentially.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. So what are we adding?
Star,
Another
string.
a star.
Star inside.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
Perfect. And then now between line 66 and 67, just a new line there.
66 and 67, like this.
Yes, and then we can have a console log of star line there.
Just like this.
Cool. Yes. And then a new line after that. A new line.
All right.
And then we reinitiate star line. So just say star line equals empty string. This is just to make sure that we reinitialize it so that we can add the following stars once again.
Okay. All right. And then what's next?
Yeah, that should do it.
Okay, let's test it out.
There we go.
Well done. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Do we have any questions on loops? I'm lowering everybody's hand. So now we're gonna move on to for in and for off. Okay, cool. No questions so far. Okay, these are so great. Okay, so our next buddy is the for in loop. So this one, this like it uses objects. So now we're gonna be trying out our objects and how they work. So the for in loop loops through the properties of an object. So let's do this. For in, it's actually like for in. Object. Let's look at the syntax. So it's for, and then there's a key. Remember objects? Let's go to objects. Objects. See, objects. Key value, key value, key value, key value, key value. Objects are made up of key value pairs. There's a key and there's a value. It's made up of pairs like that. Okay, so now, let's go to iterables. So we were working with student. Like we can work with favorite foods later. Let's work with daily temp. Export. Let. So now I can use it. So I don't have to do a separate import. All I can do here is go comma, and then I can say, what was it? What is the name of it? Daily temps. So I come back, say daily. It already knows. Once you export it, it goes on a list. It goes on like an import export list. So these are things you can buy from the different countries. So it's right over there. Okay. So let's look at the syntax for the for in loop. It says the key, and then you say this is a keyword. Don't get it confused with key. This is a keyword, like special words in programming languages. Like for is a special word, it's a keyword. In is a special word. You say key in object. And then you go like this. And then here is the code block. So for as long as there's a key in the object, remember for loops, we're still working with loops where we know how much of something there is. We can see its end. We know its ending. We have a finite understanding that this loop, it's going through an array or it's going through an object. There are a finite amount of stuff and we know it. We could literally count it if we wanted to. So we're still working on the category of loops where we know how much we've got. So this one is going to go through an object. I'm going to do a simple little object because I want you guys to play around with me with the daily temps. So just to show everybody how you would do it. Okay, I have to put all of this in comments. You will comment it out. Oh, I didn't today, which was very bad. So remember, Vukona and I are sharing this repo. So he could have done work. This is so bad. He could have been doing other work, and now I'm doing other work. So before I even begin, I was just supposed to do git pull. Thank goodness I'm already up to date. So whatever is on GitHub is with me. And if maybe there's some things that Vukana was working on, he didn't push. So me and GitHub are aligned. Already up to date. Great. Okay. Person, do we have a person? Do we have person here? Do we have person? We don't have person. But we have person here in objects. Let's export you. Let's export you, person. Let's export you. Actually, I've never gone through one that has a method. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when the object has a thing in it, a function in it. Okay, so we're exporting person, going back to main, and then we're going to import. Importer person. All right. That person. And now I just want to put the keys out. Well, rather, I want to get the values because I have the key. So I want to get the value. So if you have the key, it's like, let me quickly show you. Let's do this. Person. Sorry. Person. Let's go look at person. So there's first name. So I can do this. Documenta. Yeah. We're gonna have to move to the browser soon so that we can work with the elements and we can put things on there. But it's fine. Let's see again. That's why I'm getting the error for document. It's not defined because we're running it with Node. As you can see here, Node. So this my computer's Node JS on it. So that's how we're able to run these JavaScript files here on the terminal. So we're using, that's what the node is stand for. But obviously, as we saw yesterday, like we can just run things in the browser because obviously HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's their domain. They can do that. So because here we're running with Node, Node is treating this as just a code on its own, and it's like, you're talking about document. I don't understand where you're getting document. But if it's on the browser's like, I totally understand what you mean when you say document. When you say document, you're talking about the HTML that's connected to this script. I get it. Here, Node is like, I don't know who you're talking about. So that's why we have to comment out. Let's see if it works now. First name. First name is not defined. In person. This programming will show you flames sometimes. But as I said, errors are your best teacher. So as you guys saw, if I don't have this, if I don't put the key in inverted commas, reference, it's like it thinks this is a variable and it doesn't understand from where did you define this guy, where are you getting him from. So when I do this, then it treats it as a key, and then I can get Mandla right over there. Okay, let's keep that there. So now I want to go through the person, and I want to pull out, so there's going to be keys, there's going to be values. I want to get all the values out of person. So I'm going to be like, let text just like what gosh, was it Eno? Gosh, I'm so terrible. Guys, forgive me. There's just code in my brain. Was telling us like to do starline. Starline here. Okay, let's do that. Now we're gonna say let x. So x will be like our key. We'll stand in for our key. Whatever the key will be, we don't know. We're just saying there's a key because this is the syntax, right? It's gonna be the key in object, and then hello. Is there a hand? There's no hand. Okay. So there's going to be a key in object, and then as long as there's a key in an object, because we're going to run through all the keys in the object, right? For as long as there's a key in the object, we will do this. Basically, what this thing says is that for as long as there is a key in the following object, then perform this. For as long as there's a key in the object, in the following object, then you perform this. So X will stand in for our key, and we'll say, then we'll print out X to see what X has got. So we're on the same page. Okay, first we want to see X. So let's just console log what's X, so that we're both on the same page on what X is. The value of X is, let's look at the iterable object. Let's scroll to it. Look at it. The value of X is first name. The value of X is surname. The value of X is age. The value of X is height in meters. The value of X is greeting. The value of X is address, because remember, we augmented person somewhere when we said 123 Holler Street. If you can see here, yeah, we added to the person thingy, the person object. So that's why it here it only shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but actually it has 6 properties because the 6th one was added much later. So it has that. So so X is standing in for the keys. Okay. So X is standing in for the keys. And I just showed you here that you can use the key to get the value. That's how we got Mandla. Right? So now we don't want the keys. We have the keys through X. We want the values. I want to see what's going to happen when it's the greeting. It might just give us a fun error that we can work with and learn from. Okay. Remember, we're doing that same thing with learning from what did here. Remember what this means. So here, okay. I'll leave this example here. I'm going to expand it here for people to realize that it's the same thing. I'm just going to expand it here so people can see different ways of doing it. And I also want to say, so I'm going to have to put the value, and then I want to put a space so that they sit next to it. Okay, so I'm going to say person. I'm going to say X, because that's my key, right? Key value. So if I have a key and I put it here, just like here, it pops out a value. Cool. So text is going to be plus that, and also it must be plus a space so that it looks. Let me remove the space so that you can see how it looks like. Let me just add it like this so that you can see how it goes. Okay. Let's see how this goes. It prints out the function as text. Can you see? It's quite jumbled up though. Let's see if we add a space, if we can gain some clarity with some space between each thing we add. Okay, let's run it again. A little bit more readable. Mandlam Kize, 32, 1.74 height, and then the function obviously starts, and because it has a new line, then it goes to a new line, and right after that, we have Hola Street. Can someone come through? How are we going to figure out, how can we skip a function? How can we skip a function? Do you guys, I just thought of it right now. Do you guys have a way how we can, let's say a property has a function. How do you think we could skip it instead of printing it out? Does anyone have any idea? All right. Nelson?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Nelson, how are you?
I'm good. I think
You
we
see,
need an if
you
statement.
see the output here?
Yeah.
Very bad, ne? It's not very.
So
How can
I
we?
think
Yeah.
we have to use an if statement type of.
Okay. What would you advise? So now the thing is, we don't know that. Okay, here we know that it's greeting, and we can. Okay, let's try. Let me not. Go ahead. What solution do you want to show us?
Let me say inside the for loop.
Okay.
Let's say if type of if open brackets open parenthesis type
So where's
of
the for
person.
loop? So is the
Where's
for
the
loop?
for loop?
I'm sorry. Where must I type the if?
Okay, let's start from line 89.
It after this line. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's start there.
All right.
If
If
open parenthesis
yeah.
type of
Yes.
person brackets
Brackets.
x brackets, not parentheses.
Okay. Which brackets? Person.
Brackets,
Person. Person X. Okay.
yeah,
I hear you. Okay. Awesome.
not double equation, double equal to
Not equal to.
double quotations inside.
Excuse me.
Function, right? Function.
Function. I think it's my network.
And then yeah, we are done. Then open the braces.
Okay, open the braces.
Yeah, copy and paste line 88.
Okay.
And let's see the output.
Okay, let's see the output. I'm so excited. Awesome. Talk us through here. Talk us through what's happening here. Yesterday we used this. Remember, we had a lovely question. I think it was from Mondley. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry, you guys. He was like, someone wanted to know how can you tell if a function returned and we use this. Can you talk us through what you did here?
The type of, I think it returns the value. So we are getting the type of the person key, that key, the first name, the what. And then if that thing is not a function, we are going to print it out.
Yes, simple to the point. Yes. So whatever is at X person, and if its type is not equal to function, then do this. If its type is function, there's nothing that we do. There's nothing that we do. Straight to the point, clear. Thank you so much, Nelson. All right. Okay, so now let's work with the daily temps, you guys. Who's going to do the daily temp for me? I just want to print out the daily temps with the key. So I wanted to say that the date, let's look at it. Let's look at the data structure first. Look at the data structure. So it's the day of the week, it's the temperature. Day of the week, temperature. I wanted to say, let's go to main. I wanted to say the temperature on Friday is 34. All right. So I want you to console log and give me these console logs based on the temperature. Just all of it. We are going to enhance it. So I'm going to need two people. I'm going to need the person who's going to print it out for us, and then I'm going to need a person who's going to do the if statement for us, because we're going to augment it so that it prints out the temperatures of a certain value. Okay, so two people. Can I have some volunteers? Okay, so I'm going to put pretty, and Garabo and Nelson, I'm going to just ignore you guys for a little bit because you guys are great and you're very great at participating. I just want to let someone else come through. Okay, let's start with Pretty, and then we'll pick another person after Pretty has console logged, has iterated through the loop. Pretty, you can come through.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Pretty. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, Sissy. Okay.
So we are going to do the for in loop.
All right. Tell me what to type. So this is for those who don't know, this is pair programming. So in pair programming, as a pair, there's a lot of pairs, two things, a set of two. So in a pair programming, there's a driver, there's a navigator. Everybody sticks to their lane. So the driver types on the computer, does not come up with the solution, and then the navigator says, type this, remove that. So it's a way of like just programming, getting stuff done. It can be really helpful in teaching people new things. It can also be great for collaborating on a process. It's faster, two brains better than one. A situation like that, yes, it's such a great exercise. So as I'm the driver, I'm not gonna. So you tell me exactly what to type, where to type, what line. Okay, I'm ready.
Hello. Okay, my battery is low.
Sorry.
Okay. So let's begin.
Yes.
For loop for let
yes.
temp. Yeah.
Temp.
Yeah.
Okay.
In daily temp. No, okay, can you say let the day of the week, let's say let day, not temp day.
Okay.
Okay. We want to print the values, eh?
Yeah.
Console.log.
So this is what it must print out. It must look like this. Yes.
Okay. Day. I mean, daily. What? Can't see.
Day.
No, daily. Daily
Daily.
temp.
Okay. Yes.
The brackets, corner brackets, those square brackets, yeah.
Square brackets. Yes.
And then day.
Day.
You make a template string. Template string. Make it a template string.
Okay.
No, I mean those ticks. Can you make those?
Okay. Oh yes, 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 yes. After or
Inside
all
the
of them.
daily temp. They must, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Like this.
Yes. Can you wait? Hold on a second. I'm trying to touch my laptop. Okay. Yeah. Daily temp. Okay. Can you, before that statement, can you write the temperature on? And then $sign.
Dollar sign.
And then curly braces.
Curly braces.
Temperature on day.
Day. Yes.
And between the two $signs, what is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, can you run it?
All right. Dope. Dope, 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 dope. Thank you so much, Pretty.
Thank you.
Dope. Thank you, Sissy. Okay. So now I want to print out days that let's look at our data. Let's look at our data. So let's say we are part of a project and we are looking at climate change and whatnot, and we want to know, okay, which days had which days had a temperature of above 22. 22, yes, not included. Not included. So first, I want us to print those days out. And then I want a statement to be printed out. Statement printed that says there are X days that experienced a temperature above 22 degrees. So not only do I only want to print those days out, I also want to print a statement that says that these is the total. These are the days, da 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 da, and then they are what? 2 days that had that experienced a temperature. Yes. So whoever's coming through, you've got quite a bit to work with. Okay, let's get some volunteers. Get some volunteers. Some volunteers. Olisi,
Hi. Yes.
hi. You wanna give it a go?
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Do you wanna give it a go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So yeah. So okay. So just do this one, and then somebody else will do the sum. We'll do this one. So just print out the days for me, like this, exactly like this, but certain. Like you see this day on Sunday. So you'll print this day. You'll print this. Don't do this last statement. Somebody else would do it. This last statement. Okay.
Okay, so I do those very same printouts, but to only when the temperature is above 22,
Yes, please.
essentially. Cool. Can I use that same
Yes.
loop?
Yes.
Cool. So inside that loop, just
Wait, let's make another one so that people can refer to this one later, the simple one. Okay, let's do another one. So you can fix this one. How can we augment it?
cool. So it's just a matter of adding an if statement there.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we can try out the itinerary since we did the normal if statement last time, the one above. So let's maybe try the
Okay,
itinerary
cool.
then.
Awesome.
So let's
Yeah.
just say we got on line 110, the front,
Yeah.
you can just
Yes.
hit this. You can just say daily terms, daily, no, that daily terms square brackets day.
Okay. Yes.
Greater than 22,
Okay.
not included, so greater than
22.
question mark, and then
Yes.
let's see, will it complain? Yeah, and then colon there at the end.
Colon at the end. So you're saying that if this is true, this is what must print out, must happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Else do nothing.
Okay.
Which I wonder if it will continue work there. Try continue. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Even that will do.
Let's try continue. That's a good one. So
Yeah,
it's crying. It's crying.
Just hover right there. Okay.
Huh? Oh, you want me to hover?
Yeah, I just want to see what.
All right. It says expression expected. So this isn't an expression.
Okay, cool. Now, perfect. Then I can put a null. There we go.
Okay. Should we test it out?
Yes, please.
Okay, I wanna quickly close this because there's a lot printing out. Awesome. Yay! All right, thank you, Clarissa. All right, Eno, come through.
All right.
Okay, let's go back to the code. Okay, so we have our days. Can you you can use this, you can use this loop, you can use a for loop, whatever. but you have to use these loops because we're working with these two loops. So now I want to, instead of printing them out like this, which is good, I want to know, I want just one statement that says they are X days that experienced a temperature above 22. How can you help us do that?
Okay, so in this case, we are counting the temperatures that are greater than 22. So, and then looking at line 110, I just want to see if I can use this if statement or the normal one. Let me see.
So which version do you want to use? This version or this old version?
Okay, I can use this one.
Okay, so let me make
so
a copy of it so that it's always there for people to refer to on GitHub. Okay.
But I'm not sure if it's gonna work. So, but let's try this one first. Okay, so at the top we can say let count equals to 0. And then yes. And then on after the question mark.
Sorry, let me just quickly blow my nose. All right, I'm back.
All right.
Okay, so yes.
So after the question mark, we can remove the console.log statement. And we can say count plus equal daily terms, and then square bracket day, square brackets. Yeah, and then after the for loop, we can print out, we can say console log and then the number of days. I mean count, sorry.
Like this?
Yeah.
Should we test it out?
Yeah, we can test it out.
Okay. So what should the correct George, English running away. So what is the correct number? What should count say?
The count, the correct. So we have to get the correct one, we have to manually calculate from the previous run.
Yes, so here it is.
Yeah. So we can just.
So what should it say?
Just 1 second. I got 147. Not sure if I missed one.
So the count should say, let's see how many days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 days that experienced a temperature above 22. So now we're gonna run it and see if that's what we do.
Oh, now I see. So we are counting the number of days, not the number of temperatures.
Yeah, because it says here there are X days that experienced a temperature above 22.
Okay. So in this case, we just have to increment by 1, not by the number of daily temperatures in terms of degrees
Okay, how would we do that?
in the if statement. So we have to remove daily terms and then curly braces. I mean the square.
So we remove this?
Okay. No, not that.
Yeah,
After the question mark.
after the question.
Since
We
we are
remove
counting
this.
the air, so we remove that and then we have to increment by 1
Okay.
since we are counting the number of days. So I got mistaken. I didn't read the statement correctly.
So you think this should work?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see it. Huzzah. Excuse me. 6 days. All right. Let's take a 8-minute comfort break, and then let's come back again at 11. I'll take some questions, and then we will move on to 4 off, and then that will be the last of the loops that we know the value of, and then we will spend 11 and 12 doing while loops and putting some stuff out of the browser. Excuse me. Okay, I'll see you guys back here at 11 sharp. Thanks. All right, welcome back, coders. Tabang, you can come through. Do you have a question?
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Tabang?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I have a question regarding the for-in statement. I was
Okay.
yes, I was asking if I can see how we solved it in question 117. Yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty simplified. But me, I
Yes.
had another way around which I tried to do it. Can I just explain or
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Explain and show us. Yes.
Okay, okay. By the first thing which I do, I try to get the separate values. I get their keys and values. So I create
Yeah.
a new variable for temp, const temp. We can say const temp.
Where?
Okay,
Which line?
okay, okay. Can you please comment the 117 line of code?
All right.
Yes, and then go to yes, and go to a new line. Yes, and you can create a new variable for temp, which will store our values. Okay, you can say temp, const temp equals to is daily temps and square bracket day. Yes, and a new line, console.log and the what is it? Oh, the string literals, string literal, yes, the big ticks.
Okay. The backticks, the
Yes,
graves.
yes. Or the
Uh-huh.
graves. Is and you can say dollar and open bracket day.
Okay. Open bracket dollar. Wait. Dollar. Yes. Day.
And yes, you display the key now, yes.
Yeah.
And then you can move on other side and make a semicolon.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and space nyana. Yes, and dollar and open bracket, clip braces, man. And display the value of temp.
Where?
Yes, okay, yeah, temp there, yes. The value which is storing our temperatures, yes. And then go to
Uh-huh.
a new line.
Yes.
Okay, since we have developed count, and then we'll say we are trying to count the days where the temperature is above 22, ne?
Yeah.
And then create an if statement
Uh-huh.
and open bracket, open parenthesis, yes. And you say temp greater than or yeah, greater than 22. Yes, and open parenthesis. I mix these things, capital and parenthesis, and you can say count
Count.
plus. Yes, this is how I try to solve it. Can you? Yes.
Okay, let's run it and see.
Can you clear the terminal, please, so we can?
Okay, let's see what's also printing out.
Yes.
Not all of this. Guys, you'll have to uncomment this when you clone it so that we can see clearly, because there's some more coming now. This is where we're at. Okay, let's see. It seems to be working
Oh wow! Thanks.
as expected. All right. Okay. Awesome. You guys have been awesome. Okay, so just to recap, so for the for in loop is to iterate, go through to traverse an object. So now we want to work with our favorite buddies, lists, arrays. So for lists, for arrays, we have a new buddy in town. There's so much open. There's so much open. I'm starting to lose my mind. I'm gonna close all of this stuff so I can just breathe. You know when you when you like take off your headphones so that you can cross the street properly. Like there's just some brain thing where things are coming together in a very bad way. So we're gonna work with arrays. Um, for of I'm just getting my slides so that I'm saying one coherent thing at all times. So the for of loops through the values of an iterable. AKA arrays. Okay, so let's see how these buddies are about. So the syntax is quite similar. It's the same for situation. We've got the same basic bones. Variables of you have the variables of the iterable. So in here, in of, we had in before, we have of here. So of is for the arrays, in is for the objects. Just tools. These are all just tools that if you come across, like when you have a problem and then you start doing your problem statement, breaking it down, and you're creating like the problem space, and you're trying to now figure out how am I going to tackle this. You're creating your pseudocode, then you're developing your algorithms, then you realize that there are certain things you have to do because that's where you start. Then you come and you realize I'm going to be working with an array. I need to be doing this. I can leverage this tool. So understanding how it works, one part, so that you can apply it. But what's most important is for you to know that if this is a situation that needs a screwdriver, this is a situation that needs a pliers, this is a situation that needs rewiring. Everything has its thing. I my my aim is I hope you understand how to spot these patterns in problems. The problems take on different bodies, and they look extra special when they might arrive to you, but they're all actually just wearing masks. There are very few problems, and we've tracked them down. We've called them design patterns. There's a book about them. You can search online. We all the problems fit into these categories that we found. So you can always rely on an existing solution to solve that problem. So you must learn now in this what we're doing, and as we come into CodeDrive, it's you are already good at pattern recognition. Start to spot that you are wearing a mask, you're actually this problem. you and you are actually all the same problem. And I'm going to apply this solution. Because you want to work better, you want to work smarter. Anyway, rant over. Let's do cars. How are cars? Let's go to our country of cars. Okay. Now let's see what Volcano's got for us here. And we have favorite fruits. Why are we going too far? Export favorite fruits. Already on the list. Just press enter. Okay, I'll leave that one for you. And then I'll do const car. So maybe just like say these. Something simple like that. And then does somebody have their mic on? Please mute. For visual structure. And then we're gonna say let what be of cities or sea of cities or even location of cities, and then we can print that. Please mute. Someone's not muted. Okay. Let's see what this bad boy can do. All right. We have same sort of situation as before. We're able to pull these bodies right out using location now becomes each element. It's like city square 0 is what location. So we have the same type of situation. What's also interesting is that, okay, let's do this. Town. Because a string is just a group of characters. I think we've done this. Okay. For cha. Well, they let me say cha. Okay. Doesn't seem like it's a keyword. It's a used word. Okay, I'll use it. So I'm used. So cha character. Let me just say character because it's better. Character of hometown. Remember, hometown is this. It's a string. This is an array of strings. And hometown is now going to be holding this string of hometown. Let's see what we got. Just very, very straightforward. So what's basically going to happen, it's going to, each letter, it's going to print it out on a new line. Remember, guys, I'm so terrible. Someone just told us now that the reason the stars were printing on each line and not creating the pattern we wanted is because when it prints out a line and then it moves the character to the new line. So when it prints out again, or anything or anyone tries to print out, they are going to be printing out on a new line. So it should go VRYHIED, like vertically, if we have it correctly. If we don't, we have an error, and that's a stepping ladder for us to learn something. All right. Got it. Ooh, wouldn't it be so interesting? Could someone, I want to print out, you see how it does it like this? I want us to print Freiheit across, and then at the end, I want it to go down. Let's see if we can quickly do that. Yeah, and then also underneath it, we'll have freight properly. So it's gonna be like this. Oh, let's skip it. Let's skip V R Y H. Okay, this computer is not okay. H I D. Okay. Let's try it. Then we do this. But then also on the other side, it must also say V H. Yeah, obviously neater than this scramble I'm writing here. Yeah, do you think we could do that with this? Let's see who's up for that challenge. Hi, Tabang.
Hi.
Hi. Are you?
Okay.
Do you think you can try this?
Yes, I just want to understand first. Is it a reverse like string?
It's just which one? These ones?
Yes.
No, they're correctly. It's not reverse. It's going like left to right.
I know. Let me just try it on the side first. I'll come back again.
Who wants to try it? Okay, maybe. Come through, pretty.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Can I try it?
Of course.
Okay. We are printing out character and then space. Can you go to the console log character?
Yeah.
On the console log character, line number 149.
Yes.
Make it a template string.
A template string.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I see you going. I think I see where you're going.
Yes. Make the dollar sign in curly braces, character,
Yes.
and then some space.
Excuse me?
Space. Just
Space.
yeah. Yeah, and then another template string and character. Let me see if that works first.
Okay, just sorry, Pretty. Yes, you were saying?
Okay, can we see if that works first before I try the other one?
All right, all right. Nice.
Okay. Can we let a variable? Okay. Can we create a variable at the top?
Okay, where? Which line?
Line number 146.
146. Yes.
Let let's say ct. Let ct equals to, and then an empty string. Okay. Can you console.log on the for loop, inside the for loop?
All right.
Okay. Console.log
Oh, wait. Before or after?
after.
Okay.
Console.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, before you console.log, can you initialize character? I mean, ct is equal to ct plus character.
City before console log.
Yeah, before console.log.
City equals city plus character.
Yeah.
And
And
then what?
then remove the console log, and then remove the console log, add it after the for loop. Yeah, ct console log ct.
City console log city. So like this.
Yes.
Should we test it out?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. 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 Thank you so much, Tissy.
Thank you.
All right. So basically the same sort of thing with arrays. We are using off. So if we need to go through these things, we can use this body to go through the arrays. Okay. I want us to move on to. Let me check. Do we have any questions before I move on? Any questions? If you have anything you'd like to share, please put it in the chat. People will appreciate it. Okay, no questions for now. Okay. I also don't want to take up too much of your Friday. I want to stick to 12. I don't want to take it over, take up the rest of your day. It's Friday after all. Okay. So let's do some loops, some whiles. These are so now we're in the second category. Remember at the beginning I talked about how we Everything is green. Now everything is just green. Guys, when you get this, just ungreen everything so you can see properly. Anyway, so at best, really, when we're working with a situation where you don't know how much you're going to have to go through, like how many, because we're talking about loops, a loop, circle, over and over, iterables. What did the dictionary say? Iterate, perform, or utter repeatedly. Iterate,
iterate, iterate,
iterate, perform, utter repeatedly. So we're doing something over and over again. That's the whole thing behind what we're talking about today, behind these different tools that we can leverage. They're different flavors. Like, I'm going to stop speaking about tools because I just keep thinking about a screwdriver. So we can just use them whenever we need a certain type of situation. So all you have to do is like, okay, this one works with this one works with that. So I have a situation where something needs to repeat, but how many times does it need to repeat? And then you people all the information you have is like, okay, we don't know. If you have a table, you know exactly how many times you need to repeat because you are only working with the data in the table. Even if it's a million rows, you know it is a million. When you are working in a situation where there's a stream of data coming in, you don't know whether you will be receiving in 10, 10,000, 10,000,000, 10 billion interactions. You don't know. There are situations where you need to do loops, you need to repeat, but the actual thing that needs repeating has an unknown end to it. This is where while loops do their best. This is where they shine. It's a loop that is purely based on. Remember when we were doing the for at the beginning, and I said expression one, expression two, expression three, and then I also mentioned that all of those expressions are optional, and we picked them apart. We took out let.I, right up here. We took out let.I, we took out I is smaller than 2, and we saw the consequences of it. So it's like in a while loop, the syntax B, the condition, and then code block. So here, it's like we took away, it's like we changed the name from for to while, and we took away the first expression, we kept the second expression, and we took away the third expression, the one that changes the initial value. Remember, the first one is the initial value that we're going to be using to test in our condition, to test our condition. And then there's the last statement that it must change so that the loop comes to an end. It's only going for this amount of time because we know we have a finite amount of things. So now we've gotten rid of number one and number three. All we're left with is number two, just the condition. So as long as this condition is happening, this loop will go on hele dag till the cows come home and beyond. It will just go. So now you must bring back that knowledge you've gained of loops on how to. It's like a wild horse. It's like, yes, it's like a wild horse. It's like a wild animal that you must take control. Otherwise, it's going to eat you out of memory, house, and home. and then your app is going to crash. You must wrangle it. You must take hold of the stirrups. You must take it by the horns. So you must have those are the incrementing of the initial value and the condition, and having initial values to work with the condition are your tools to so that this thing does your bidding. It doesn't go out of hand. Okay. So like this, let's make simple little loopy. I'm sure many of you have been working with loops for quite a while. Something like, okay, let y equals 10, I guess. Then you're gonna say while or as long as y is smaller than 20, do this. It's like if statement meets a for loop. Because also with an if statement, remember you have this condition. You just have the condition, and if the condition is true, this is executed. Now the lovely thing about this body while is that not only does the condition get executed, it comes back again. There's an iteration, there's a repeat, there's a loop. So if this is good, do something. Console.log. Okay. There's a situation. Obviously, I know you guys are gonna pick it up. All right. What's happening, you guys? What am I doing? Why am I letting it chow all this memory? What's up with me? Ronald?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm saying on your while there, so y is always less than 20, so which means it will continue logging we could till you manually stop it, or
So
unless you update the y.
so of when I was making that for loop example, which statement did I forget?
You need to increment.
So the third statement, I forgot
Yeah.
to take care of the third statement. So how we wrangle our loops, we have a condition we have to test on, but also our condition the thing that we're testing the condition on needs to change so that we can constantly be in control of the loop. So right now, I have a condition that can be tested, but I'm not changing it also so that I'm not in control. The loop is going on infinitely. What can I do, Ronald?
Just below console log, you can type in y++, then close it.
All right. Let's see how this works. We good. We good. It's not much. It's not much. Okay. So let's work with something. Let's work with something. Can we do a countdown? Just a simple countdown. To do a countdown, console, of course. Console, of course, and at the end of the countdown, it must say blast off. So let's do a loop, a while loop. It does a countdown. Console logs from, let's say 10, countdown from 10, 10, 9, and at the, when it's after 1, it says blast off. Quite simple. Let's put that together, please. You want to try it out, Chris? How about Mali? All right. Tolo? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Let's start coding the countdown.
Let's start coding the countdown. Okay, I have a question. Yes. Yes, we will touch on that. I'll show you how to use a break and while loop. All right, all right, all right. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, yeah. Let's start by declaring. Okay, the count is there. Let's start with a while loop. You can type while.
While.
Maybe x.
X
greater than 0. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why? Because it's already there.
Y.
Y
Okay.
greater than 0. Yes.
Than 0.
Then inside the loop, we can console log the y.
Inside the loop.
No, just y.
Just y.
Yes. After.
Okay, so make it a little bit more descriptive, like.
How so? You want me to write?
Let's say. Just gonna do this, so we know what's going down. Okay.
Yes, and then after you can decrement the y. After that, the console log statement.
Okay. Why are you decrementing the y?
Because we want it to decrease each time after printing.
So you want to change the initial conditions.
Yes, the initial value of y. Then you can. Then after the loop, you can console log blast off.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. Try running it.
Awesome. Awesome. But it's starting right at 20. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So those are while loops in a nutshell, basically. Yeah. So now we're going to just move on to the last and the final loops in this last 20 minutes. I can't believe we were able to just squeeze it all in. So it's like this one is a variation. We still want all of these nice things that we just experienced with while. And I want to show you one more way, like especially this is when you have inputs coming in, like let's say I'm gonna need yeah, let's see. Okay, we can't run this buddy here, but we also want to see what's yeah, I want us to see this on the other side. I'm gonna put it in demo and we're gonna put it in its inner HTML. Okay, let's see if this works. Hold thumbs. Aha. Okay. Huh. Let's check out, do we have any errors? None. Why do you think it says input? Aha, because I said import. Input. Let's try it one more time. Let's see. Okay, exit. It's gonna remember exit. Okay. All right, I'll leave this here as well for you guys to play with. Together inputs, save them, and display them on the browser. So you'll just use prompt to get the input. And so like you noticed, it just kept on going and going and going. Let's see if you guys wanna solve. No, let's use this time to talk about do while. Okay, so if you have a solution how we can make it not it keep the last one so that it doesn't say exit, let me know in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. So you let me know in the chat how to print out the last input we gave, rather than, what do you think would work for that? Which data structure do you think would work for that? What would you do? Okay, let's look at do while. So this while loop just kept on going until I pressed, until I entered exit. And if I'd written exit in a capital E, it would not have input exit. So it would have just gone forever and ever and ever and ever. So this is the thing, just like using let y, make this input, and then the input changes. And so when the condition is tested, it's always testing on something different, something that has mutated, so that I can keep a hold of my loop and I can be in charge. Okay, so the last loop we're going to be looking at, do while. So this is a variation. It's a variation of a while loop. How its special niche is like, you want the code to execute once. No matter what happens, let's say the condition is not met. I want at least this code must execute once, so that I just need it to happen once. But also, if it's possible, can it loop? Can it run many times? So it's a situation where you're happy with one, and it would be great if it could loop, or in a situation where there must be one, and more is advantageous. So there's a part of the code that must run once. It's sort of like, you can even do away with it do while, right? It would be a little bit trickier. You could be like, you could put code just like normally, like we have code here that doesn't need it, that's always going to run because it's literally there. You could just write normal code that needs to run, and it will run once, and then you could write code that needs to repeat in the while loop. But when you notice there's a special type of gap that it like fits. Like the code running, it's the code that runs once. So you'd in order to see the gap, you'd have to have two types, one code block, and then you'd have to copy it twice to ensure that if you don't use a do while, to ensure that the first one will run because it's just there in the global scope, it will just run. And then you have the same block in a while loop. Let's say we didn't have a do while. You would have the same block in a while loop. So now that code is going to run, and then because you want this code to also repeat, that's the way that you would do it. So if you have a situation like that where you're like, I want this code to run regardless of whatever is happening, but if the conditions are just right, I would love for it to run more times. So in order for us to not have two exactly the same code bases, we have what is called a do while. The section that we repeat is done. It's done. Let me write it out. So you say do. Do is do forever. Do this. Do the code in here, it must be done first. It must be done once. It has to be done at least once. It has to be done at least once. Code base, code block here must run once. That's the juiciness. That's the the shape of this tool. It's able to get into the specific corner and be able to do the thing that we want. I want this code block to run at least once. If it can run more than once, that would be really great. On the textbook, on the notes, it's like a do while is a variant of the while loop. This loop will execute the code block once before checking if the condition is true. Then it will repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. Then that's where the while comes in. Must run once, then nay as long as the condition is true. And then you put, it's like a back to front while. So you see how we write the while here? It's while, and then the code block comes. For a do while, it's do. This section will be done once. Come hello or high water, it will run once. And then it's gonna come here to the condition. And then the condition will be the determining factor if it ever runs again. And for how long. Because we have our three situations. There's a variable, there's a condition, and then we have to change it. So if you're wrangling your wild animal, your loop, well, you're keeping it under stirrups, you've got it tightly. You have a control measure that you can alter so that the condition is true when you want it to be true. You can make the condition false when you want it to be false, so the loop stops running. True, turn on the tap. False, close the tap. You must be in control of the loops that way. It's a tap that can go quickly out of hand, but it can serve you because you don't want to go through a million lines of database data and manipulating each line by itself. You don't want to do that. So you leverage your loops and you decide you can go loop, you can stop loop. All right. Put the syntax here, and then we'll do a do while. We'll do a do while. Okay. Did I have text there? Let's use txt and just reassign it back to empty. And then let's also reassign I just to recycle. Okay, so we have a code base that we want to run at least once. So it's like 16. Just like in Starline, we want to add whatever's coming into here with what's already existing. It's not just an assignment. We are appending. We want to, whatever's in here, I want to add to it. I want to append it. Okay. Yeah, because I have this, I don't want to keep, we'll just do it on the browser. Let's do a break. Let's do it on the browser. I must change, and then I'm like, let's do it 10 times. As long as I is smaller than 10. Because it's going to start at 0, isn't it? Okay. Put it in the demo again. HTML. I want to say text. Let's see how that goes. I think it's what is range error out of memory. Okay, let's print it out on the console. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what we are playing with, what fire we are playing with. I'm going to have to console this so that we don't have issues. Do you guys know what's going on? Let me check you guys. Ah, yes, you guys know what's going on. Right. Ronald, you can come
On your
through.
while, you
Yes.
have 1 instead of I, so you need to change line to 12.
To 12.
Yeah,
I wrote a 1. So
yeah.
the loop went on infinity.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go back, because I want you guys to like not just put things out here. Yes, it's great, but I also want you guys to put stuff in the work with the elements, the HTML, the DOM itself. I want you guys to get used to like doing that. So that's why I'm trying to make it work here. All right. I was being impatient. There we go. All right. Okay. So it ran once, and then it met the condition, and then the condition was true. So it carried on, and it carried on doing the section. Basically, that's it. That's it. I'm going to respect your time, and I'm going to leave it there for now. And next week, I will send you guys wherever various campus you'll be on. You'll be receiving communication from Zach and Vero to tell you about the proceedings. So please expect an email, and then I'll be seeing some of you in my lab. Some of you I'll be seeing in the commencement ceremony. Yeah, and then I will send you guys. We're gonna put all of what we did together. We're going to be manipulating the DOM a lot. We're going to be getting down to data, the lifeblood of our apps, of our systems. And there's another one we need to wrangle. That's another wild animal we need to get under our control. How we receive it, and then we obviously have to manipulate it and display it to people so that they understand it quickly, they get it, it's intuitive, it not only looks pretty, but it functions as they expect it to. So yeah, so I'm gonna send you a bit of a task. It might be like 10 days. We might do it for like 10 days. Yeah. To wrangle data and turn it into crisp, pretty UIs that serve their purposes. They serve the problem space, they eliminate the problem. Yeah. Okay. I want to again express my gratitude for the interactions that we have. It really is um, great to co-create with you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please look out for those emails today and tomorrow. And then we will begin on Tuesday. Yes, so you know how to reach me on Slack. So I can reach me on Slack. We can take this further. I'm gonna push the code now, and then you guys can play with it some more, especially that input and um, that what we did with the button. Yes, try to do something like we did a button. Now maybe create an image and then try to make it reusable. How if you wanted to add another image, what are the things you'd rather want to provide rather than having to type all of that? Yeah. Okay. Stay blessed. Be safe. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye.